What is up, guys? Welcome to part 2 of match day 28 at the review. This is the TIF podcast and it's your boy TC bringing you all the results from match day 28. So let's just look at the fixtures that we will be discussing today. We've got Arsenal Bournemouth, Southampton Fulham, Chelsea Tottenham, Crystal Palace v Man United, Liverpool versus Watford, and Manchester City versus West Ham. So let's just talk about the Arsenal game. So of course Arsenal have had a jam-packed week, if you want to call it that. Played on Thursday in the Europa League, played over the weekend against Southampton, and then yet another midweek fixture versus Bournemouth. So obviously the score ended up being 5-1, and there was 5 different goal scorers for Arsenal. Mesut Ozil got on the score sheet, Mkhitaryan, Koscielny, Aubameyang, as well as Lacazette. So both strikers are absolutely firing on all cylinders. I do believe Aubameyang is currently on 19 goals for the season. Lacazette is got 14 goals for the season. This is in all competitions, ladies and gentlemen, and that result still leaves Arsenal in 4th in the league, and basically they are still a point ahead of Man United, who obviously also played yesterday evening on Wednesday, and it was a fantastic performance from the Arsenal. From the get-go, they did not give Bournemouth any breathing space. They didn't allow them to settle on the ball, rushed them, made them really uncomfortable, and it was a well-deserved victory, and you could tell that the performance was of a team that was at home. So of course there are now 10 fixtures left in the league. As mentioned previously, I'm an Arsenal fan personally, and I do believe now Arsenal have got a big chance of making it to the Champions League through the Premier League qualification. Of course, Arsenal faces Tottenham on over the weekend, and that will be a very important game. And if Arsenal does obtain a result, that will certainly drag Tottenham back into the challenge for the top 4 spot, because all the other teams around them would have closed the gap against them. So great result for Arsenal, and we move on to the next fixture, which was Southampton Fulham. I wasn't really expecting a result from Southampton on this particular game, but they've ended up coming up trumps. Both goals came in the first half, my apologies, and I expected a draw from this particular game, but Fulham did not turn up to the races yet again. Romeo got the goal. It was a kind of a weird goal, really. It was a shot outside the box, deflected through multiple players, and it's found its way into the back of the net. And Mr. Southampton himself, Mr. Ward-Prowse, got onto the score sheet as well. So he has been having a fine season. He's been at Southampton for God knows how long, since he was a kid, but a great result for Southampton that one was. It lifts them out of the relegation zone and pulls Cardiff back into the relegation zone. So Southampton are 2 points clear now off the bottom 3, and if they can keep obtaining results, I can see them being safe. Their manager is good. He was brought in for a reason, and Southampton do have the knack of obtaining good players and good managers into their team. So the next game that we will be discussing really will be the Chelsea v Tottenham game, an extremely important game, of course, for all parties concerned in regards to that Champions League spot in the Premier League. So Chelsea ended up winning the game 2-0. First goal was courtesy of Pedro, run through their defense, and the ball went through Lloris's legs. Fantastic goal from the little Spanish guy, and you did not see them actually getting a result from this game. I would have thought again this game would have been a draw. Second goal came courtesy of Kieran Trippier. What an absolute gift. I was looking on social media, and a lot of people were saying that that particular goal looked like Henry in his prime, and it had some essence of Henry to it, but of course it was an own goal. I'm sure Kieran Trippier did not find the funny side of that, and again, of course, that result leaves Chelsea in 6th, Tottenham in 3rd. Crystal Palace, Man United. Crystal Palace were obviously playing at home. Man United ended up winning the game 3-1. Great victory for them and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Based on the amount of injuries that they did have, I could not see them getting a result. Of course, Crystal Palace have been playing well themselves. They managed to get a goal through Joel Ward, but Lukaku got 2 goals. He'd missed an absolute sitter, really. before he actually got his 2 goals, but managed to redeem himself and get those 2 goals. So I do believe now he's on 10 goals for the season, which is not great for a striker of his stature and a striker that cost that much. So let's just take a quick ad break and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the TIF podcast. So we'll be discussing the last 2 fixtures, which are concerning the league leaders, basically Liverpool and Man City. So those 2 teams are battling it out for the title. Liverpool destroyed Watford. It was a fantastic result for them. Ended up winning 5-0 on the day. Virgil van Dijk got himself 2 goals, and Trent Alexander-Arnold was absolutely amazing. His delivery, his crosses, his passes, everything was absolutely spot on. He got 3 assists in 1 game, and I do believe that's the first time that one player has actually got 3 assists in 1 game. So that obviously leaves Liverpool still in the lead of the Premier League, and they've obviously got that 1 point difference to Man City. So based on that, what I've just said, you may know that Man City won. They won 1-0 against West Ham. Manuel Pellegrini was returning to Man City, but Man City surely should have scored a few more goals in my opinion. They weren't really putting enough. They were applying a lot of pressure. I do believe they had about 76% possession in comparison to what West Ham did have, but they didn't have that little bit of cutting edge that they usually have. They started off with Mahrez and Sane, and both those guys didn't really turn up to the races. They ended up getting that 1 sole goal through a penalty once Bernardo Silva was taken down in the box. So let's just look at the table quickly, just to run through the top 6, I should say, or let's look at the top 10 really. So you got Liverpool at the top with 69 points, Manchester City with 68 points, sitting in second. Third is Tottenham Hotspur with 60 points, so they're firmly out of the title race. They are going to be dragged into this top 4 finish race. Arsenal are sitting in 4th with 56 points. Manchester United lying 5th with 55 points. Chelsea are 6th with 53 points. However, they've got a game in hand over all the other teams above them. Wolverhampton Wanderers are sitting in 7th with 40 points. Equal on points with Wolves is Watford, and they sit in 8th due to goal difference, which is 1 goal really. Everton are now in 9th and they have 36 points, and the same applies for West Ham. So once again, thank you so much for listening to the TIF podcast. If you are listening on whatever platform you're listening to, make sure that you do subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review, and once again, thank you for listening.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.